Welcome everybody. Welcome to AZ Security. Today we have a new topic and it's called EUBE. Before we start, my name is Dinan Paardenkoper. I'm a cloud architect at IT Impressive and today I have a special guest and that is Ashwin Patil. Ashwin, could you introduce yourself please?
Yeah, certainly. Hello, everyone. My name is Ashwin Patil. I've been currently working as a senior security researcher for Microsoft Security Research. Um, so I've been with Microsoft about 12 years now, and then in the overall security SIM space about 15 years.
Oh really? So that's quite a long time.
Yes, yeah. It's been surreal to see since the all the SIM evolution and all the features since last 15 years.
Cool. And how long do you work with the technology in the EBUEA?
Yeah, UEBA, like user entity behavioral analytics. Yeah, so I've been working with UEBA as a detection engineer about 5 years now, like since the Sentinel came along. But very actively partner with UEBA team about like since over 6 to 8 months now, especially with the new integration that we recently announced about integrating non-Microsoft data sources to Sentinel UEB.
Cool. And for the viewers who are just joining in, doesn't know this functionality, can you give an explanation what it is?
Yes, certainly. So UEBA is, I think, for your viewers, it may not be probably new. So it's basically user entity behavioral analytics. It's kind of like a same added value features that's typically shipped by some vendors. The core functionality is creating these behavioral profiles around your entity, right? So entity can be primarily users, or it can be assets, devices, and things like that, right?
Mhm.
uh, so typically you will write these kind of behavioral directions in your sim or defender in any fashion, but there's like a dedicated products that can basically enrich all those informations, make those profiles directly readily available, so you can leverage that into detection. So think of like all your behavioral detections that were in the sim that you were writing about. You can have like a dedicated table or enrichment things that's readily available, that you can directly use it in your detections.
Nice. Looking forward to the story what you're going to tell us for today.
Okay, cool. Right, so hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes, it's there.
All right. So I'll not go through the whole presentation. This is one of the customer presentations that we I recently did. Uh, so primarily, let's probably what's the UABA is about, right? So uh, rules alone certainly miss context, right? So UABA is kind of those early warning or context, right? So it is really a nuisance between the early warnings are generally noisy. They may not be high fidelity because you still have like a lot of context to analyze to make certain decisions, right? So you cannot generally convert all of those UABA signals into alerts or incidents, because it can be too noisy, and then the SOC will be basically busy with triaging all those things. So it's really sits under the alerts, right? So it's kind of like a behavioral context, right? And then, as I said earlier, it's basically entity centric. So users, devices, service principals, apps, those are the type of things it will be revolving around.
Yeah, that's always good to know indeed.
Yeah. So yeah, so this is something like the recently announced. Like we expanded to previously there were native integration of Active Directory, Windows, and some of the Microsoft data sources. But
Mhm.
now you can, since a SIM is a kind of a third-party ecosystems, you will be ingesting log of those a lot of those non-Microsoft data sources into SIM. So this is kind of like added kind of value addition for those data sources, right? So We recently announced like AWS, GCP, Okta, and then there is like some networking and other data sources are also coming uh, into the
Right.
integration, right? So one of the advantages, you can think of like each of these is a separate table, separate schema. So there is different fields that defender or detection engineer needs to know about, like where does the source IP get captured, account is mapped for different events and other things, right? If you want
Hmm.
to, if you have like a multi-cloud environment, and then you wanted to basically check the login across Azure, AWS, then you have to do like hassle with multiple data sources, right? So instead of that, like UEBA provides this unified layer on top of these data sources. So you have a single schema, a single table where you can write those type of detections. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is kind of like the originally how the UABA was proposed. Like you will be ingesting a lot of raw data. uh, so typically you will be filtering whatever you need for your security research. Some of those, like you can add some enrichment layer, right?
Yeah.
And then you will start creating profiles and correlating against MITRE attack techniques. And then lastly, there is anomalies, which is somewhat similar to alerts, but again, it's kind of lower fidelity than alerts. So you can actually write detections on top of the anomalies. So rather than uh, writing logs on the writing detections on the based on the log on events, you can write based on the log on anomaly, which will be little high fidelity to start with.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, and then apart from the profiling, this is something unique to UBA. So think of like this is a peer-based analysis. So if you want to compare, like there is a user in your organization, how his how its behavior is different than compared to its peers within the organization, right? So you'll be comparing users to different users within your organization to trigger certain anomalies, right? So and then those anomalies can be on various factors like geography, time frequency, and org-wide baseline, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
that's always great because if you want to filter, if there's possibility, of course, but it's good to
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Certainly. I mean, from a security monitoring perspective, only certain events matters, and then you wanted to do a lot of anomaly detections on certain type of events. So it's crucial to filter out those events. Yeah. So and then so when you want to think about UABA, how do we leverage the UABA? So you have so UABA is kind of fall under the anomaly detection criteria. So again, this is kind of distinguishing between your traditional alert detections and incidents. So your first kind of funnel is kind of behavioral analytics table. So this is the enrich events. So think of like your same logon events, which was the raw log that was coming in your table. It will be now processed through behavioral analytics, and then there will be some added kind of context available to that event. So it's just not like a IP address, account, and things like that, MFA and things like that. It will have like some additional context, like is it a first time login, from which ASN it came, what's the ISP, and things like that, right?
Hmm.
So that's like your first kind of funnel. And then you can have those anomaly table, which is again a narrowed down kind of alert equivalent, but lower fidelity than alert anomaly table. And then you can then also write your own detections based on these tables and these logs, right? So you can basically increase your existing alerts by enriching this UVA signals.
It's like an advanced filter, so to speak.
Right, right, right. Yeah. So yeah, so I think I have a this demo instance where you can see, like if I go to settings in so this is a unified defender portal, if you're not seen. So in this defender portal, I have basically connected Sentinel workspace, and then once you go to the settings, and then under the UEBA, you'll be getting these kind of data sources, right? Uh, so previous before the expansions, we were having Azure Activity, device logons, security events, and things like that. And then these are the new one: the AWS, GCP, Okta, and some of the uh, device logon and a couple of these tables, right? So all you have to do is like basically click on connect, and then assuming that you have already connected your AWS to send logs to Sentinel, then it will start processing these AWS logs through the UEBA kind of panel.
Nice, nice. I must laugh a little bit because I see Azure Active Directory, so the
Oh, okay.
branding will
Yeah,
will change, I guess, to Microsoft Entra.
yeah, yeah. So I think again, I think I'll share the links as well. So this is basically you can go to Sentinel documents. So these are kind of the various things that I said, like when you process the UABA, what are the additional things that you get, right? So these are the additional things, and then there are more that in the docs that you can see, right? So again, things think of this as a kind of holistic monitoring of your entities. So what type of actions it is performing, what type of devices it's using, geolocation, from which location it's coming, or ISP, things like that. So for users also, there's a blast radius. Dormant is basically if this account was not seen in last I don't know 60 90 days, and then it suddenly started uh, appearing and then doing certain activity, right? So those type of queries, if you generally wants to write without UABA, it's kind of expensive in nature. Like you need to have 30 90-day baseline already
Okay.
created, so that you can populate that information context every time, right? So rather than that, you can just rely on the UABA table to have that information readily available, right?
Yeah, it needs a little bit of data to track the
Correct.
activities.
Yeah, yeah. And then for detection engineer, it's kind of much simplification. So you, as a detection engineer or a researcher, you just wanted to write detection based on certain criteria. The log ingestion, engineering pipelines, and other things that kind of comes say afterthought for us, right? Uh,
Hmm.
the the first priority is how do we detect this type of attacks or this type of behaviors early in the process, right? So if your log knowledge and tables and everything is normalized and then available in a central place, that gives defender kind of added advantage to detect those things early in the process.
What are known use cases where UEBA is being giving the answers to uh, from your perspective?
uh,
What are known use cases when you're using this functionality?
yes, yeah, yeah. So I think so some of these use cases we already kind of blogged about, and then we'll share the links as well if you're not seeing. So think of like these examples like I talked about, like so I have like three examples here, both from the first
Okay.
party and third party, right? So you can think like these kind of predictions that you can write again on without UABA, but the things, the type of query that you'll have to write, it can get very complex, and then you need to have like a large baseline to in order to detect those things, right? So
Hmm.
this is an example where, let's say you want to detect uh, anomalous keyword access from non-human identities, right? So think of like service principal or service accounts that are trying to access the keyword. Now, service principals usually do very selected things as part of automation and kind of schedule type of access, right? So any
Yeah.
deviations from that, it's kind of like um, uh, it's a good signal to start your investigation from, right? So
Hmm.
in this case, I'm basically looking at the behavioral analytics table, right? Very simple. English that you can understand, like event source is authentication, and the source system is Azure Active Directory. I'm basically expanding the activity insights that I recently showed, right? So this is basically a dynamic column which has a lot of attributes available associated with that identity, right? So if I expand that activity insights, you can say like it's a service principal, right? And then you're accessing the keyword, right? So
Yeah.
if you want to again write this type of detections, you will have to basically write certain logic to identify that resource is a keyword, the account is a service principal, right? But
Hmm.
that information is kind of very easily available in the UEBA table, so that you can directly incorporate that into your detection, right?
Okay.
Uh, yeah, and then this is where the meat of the UEBA comes into picture, like uh, various type of uncommon things that may not necessarily be kind of alert worthy, right? But you can say like this is uncommon performed by user. What does it mean by uncommon? Is basically this service principal was never seen accessing the keyword, and then it's trying to access for the first time, right? And then the action is the keyword access, and then uncommon connected from by users as well, right? So you can stack all these attributes in a single detection. So think of like you can stack like uncommon performed by users, first time by from the country, and then some of the other anomalies, right? So, like combining these 3 or 4 signals with added filter of priority score can really uplift your alert criteria.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And then this is another examples where uh, we are basically looking at the AWS console logins. So if you look at the console login events, so typically I have a demo. I can show you how does the AWS logon looks like. So it does not have a lot of enrichments available. Of course, it will have the bare minimum essential things such as MFA attributes and other things that are readily available.
Hmm.
So you can see like this filter will basically look at uh, any users who is logging in without MFA, right? So
Right.
that's kind of the initial filter. And then from the UEBA, we are basically looking at if this user was seen from a new country, and then that new country was never seen in that tenant uh, uh, compared to other peers, right? So all of that again, it's kind of tricky to set up on your own from a TKL perspective, but
Hmm.
that type of features is already available within native to UEB, right? So
Nice.
I'll quickly jump to like how does the actual things looks like. So I have a very small demo environment here. So uh, I basically queried behavioral analytics table, which is basically UEBA table. I'm basically looking at the same kind of event, but I performed a very basic uh, kind of simulated actions where I tried to log in from a new country on my own demo AWS instance, right? So
Hmm.
uh, this is the UAB event can look like. So you can see like uh, I have this user account Sentinel AWS, which is joining first time connection from country observed in a tenant, and first time action performed in tenant, right? So this users was also not active since let's say 20 days, and then it suddenly started logging in, right? So you can see like I have stacked like 3 different filters in here for that account, right? So
Yeah.
this is easier, right? So if you look at the your native AWS login events, so this is how the native AWS logon event looks like. So you have a lot of account information, user agents, login success, and then some of these login information, right? So there's no like a native enrichment available about what from which country this IP belongs, and then various other attributes like is it a first time login or things like that, right? So
Hmm.
and now like if I uh, when I mentioned like earlier, like if you want to write similar to this UEBA query on your own, uh, and populate country information from the account IP addresses. But you can also see like how complex it can be. Like this is only for one filter, first time country, right? But then if you want to stack like three different filters, then your query will go longer and longer, right? So that complexity is kind of simplified as compared to UEBA tables.
Okay.
Cool, cool. Yeah, so I think that's kind of like a summarized way of looking at what UBA. And then lastly, like there's an anomalies table where there are dedicated anomalies available. So if you don't want to uh, write your own queries based on the behavioral analytics table, you can just simply look at the anomalies table where there is a specific anomaly is created for AWS CloudTrail. Again, this is combining various attributes, some filter of investigation priority score, and things like that. So you can directly pick up that anomaly as a source data for your alerts and insights.
And is that some things that you are adding as team to this functionality?
Yeah, yeah. So I think so. Right now we announced only one type of events. Obviously, there's for cloud there is more than log on events, right? So for now, I think the UAB team has announced like only one type of anomaly and certain type of events. But I think over the next quarter or so, like we should see lot many different events, anomalies, and insights that are populating in the UAB table as well as anomaly table, right? So and then that's across for AWS, GCP, Okta, all those data sources.
Okay. It's good to know, at least in a multi-cloud scenario.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yep. Yeah. I think so. That's kind of what I wanted to cover. And then yeah. So this is the blog that we recently announced. So you can take a look at certain same type of queries where mentioning here. There's also like technical blog that we're planning in next couple of weeks that can give like a little bit more kind of end-to-end walkthrough of how Defender should look at the UABA table.
All right. Well, I will definitely add it when it's available. Uh, you can find it later on this link when it's
Yeah,
released. Um, awesome. Thank you.
good, good.
If I'm new to this topic and I don't know where to start, do you have some guidance there?
Yeah, yeah. So I think, of course, there's Microsoft documentations that are available. UAB is not a new product. UAB has been there for a long period of time.
True.
So there's existing documentation that's available for UAB. Some of the things that I've showed is also borrowed from the Microsoft documentations, the images and other things. So I can include those links. So that's a good starting point to start with. What is UAB? What are the schema looks like? What are the insights and things like that?
Yeah.
And then there's of course a blog, and then some of the queries are also already mentioned in the blog.
All right. We will add them later on this video so that that you guys can see it and check it out. Ashwin, I want to thank you for your time, for the demos, also for your explanation. So thank you for that.
Yeah,
Also for your
yeah.
time. And any last thoughts that you want to add?
No, no. Thanks for the opportunity. It's always good to connect with the community. So looking forward to the recordings and other things.
All right. Let's do that. For now, we're going to wrap it up then.
Yep.
Thank you for your time. Also for the viewers at home, thanks for watching. Hopefully this was very useful. Please leave a comment below. And otherwise, I would say thank you very much. Until next time. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And